Warriors, rise. This is getting crazy. I'm going to break this down for you guys. Now, as I break this down, remember, here is why I do not pick sides. Here is why I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, an Xrp maximalist, why I'm not left, I'm not right. I only trust myself and a higher power, which is God to me. Whatever represents for you, I believe you because that's your paradigm. Now, listen, this is really important, Warriors. I'm working very hard to show you through my actions that by picking sides, you lose sight of who you are. So I'm going to take you through a narrative that's happening right now as we all look this way. And this is why I don't want to say I don't trust anything because everything's a mere reflection, but I do my own agenda. I do my own investments based on what will bring generational wealth back to my family and bring the money back to the people. So let's break this down today. If you guys want to join the best warrior academy in the world, 3twarrior.com, get in the conversation. If you want to get to know, like, and trust us first, click down below, join the free Discord in this description. If you want to jump right in, access to my portfolio, 130 courses, 7 calls per week to include the Wealth Building Inner Tribe with me, Coach JV, on Thursday. www.3twarrior.com. All right, let's dive right into it, Warriors. You came here to get motivated. You came here to get inspired, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to watch this short video. Now, I'm going to walk you through this. Now, remember, I'm not saying I believe Dan Pena. I'm not saying I believe Edward Snowden. I'm not saying I believe this narrative. What I'm telling you is something is going on, and you have to make the best decision financially, spiritually, of what is going to help and support your family. So Dan Pena said this a while ago. People said he was absolutely crazy. But now there's some weird stuff going on that's giving me facts, figures, numbers, logic. There may be something going on. Check this out.
You know who's behind Bitcoin? Putin. It's a Ruski conspiracy to fuck up the American economy and the world. It's a long-range plan he started 7-8 years ago. He's going to see the demise of the Western financial world while he's still the head of Russia. And he's already hacked into the brains of all the morons. You know what?
Okay, so let's walk through what he said. Thank you to that YouTube channel. You can see the thing on there. Forgot to give him a shout out. Sorry, it was right there on the bottom. So he said, basically, it's a Ruski conspiracy to bring the Americans down, the dollar, right? Now let's walk through this. So Russia invades Ukraine. The first thing that happens is a SWIFT system cyber attack worry. They start to take them off the SWIFT system, the old archaic banking system. EU bars 7 Russian banks from SWIFT system, but spares those in energy. Okay, really key. Spares those in energy. America, Biden, talks about taking them off the SWIFT system, working to pull them off of the financial system and the supply chain management. Okay, so that was the whole narrative around this. Now we're going into food shortages, all that, if you watched the video yesterday. Okay, now I'm going to take you a little bit deeper down this narrative. So remember, Dan Pena said if you knew who was behind Bitcoin, you would shit your pants, basically. He thinks it's Putin. I'm not saying it is, but here's the facts that we're being presented with. Russian banks are pulled off the SWIFT system, okay, right with when Russia invades Ukraine. I think lockstep behind the scenes, they're setting us up for a new financial system. Okay, now Edward Snowden, go do your research who he is. He's the guy that went against the, I think it was the NSA, and then he got banned from basically America. And he is actually asylumed in Russia. Okay, but some weird stuff is happening now. Okay, we're going to watch the first part of this video. It's going to go a little bit longer. And this is Edward Snowden, Prepare Yourself. And this is a 2022 video.
I think the idea here is we don't have any guarantees of economic freedom in the system as it exists today. And that should really be chilling when we look now at the technological capabilities that are being developed to intermediate our sort of economic interactions when we look at those permissioning gates that are being sort of built and stood up everywhere. Because a gate of silicon is actually much, much stronger than a gate of stone. And what we need to be prepared for is this idea that government is not going to reform itself. It's not going to get better. No one ever gifts you a better world. It has to be fought for and won. Hopefully, those are political battles. That's always what we want. Violence isn't the answer, as it's sort of famously said. But this is really interesting when we start talking about sort of math and economy, because this is fundamentally a an abstract interaction. Even our money, right? That's a token. It's an abstract representation of a unit of value. And what if we can answer the question not so much with sort of politics or interaction there, but with math, right? We solve a math problem with math instead of trying to solve a math problem with politics, solve a math problem with law. And that is tremendously subversive, but I think also tremendously powerful. What if we could guarantee economic freedom instantly, right? By standing up a system somewhere to anyone, anywhere who can connect to it, who can access it. And that can be, writing in your phone or whatever. And I think that is possible. We've already established that with sort of private cryptocurrencies that do have shielded transactions. And that's the direction I think that it needs to go. When we look at, as you say, these private institutions interfering, the reason they do it is because they can, and because someone somewhere will know if they don't, right? We have all of these people with access to their economic histories because of the many layers of regulation that have been imposed on these systems that are really all duct tape and, bubble gum stuck together to try to make this system limp along a little bit further. But should they? And if nobody could sort of view this ledger of all their activities, would they? It's not really in their economic interest to do so. It's not really in the public interest to do so. It is in the governmental interest to do so, but is the private interest aligned with the governmental interest? At times in history, yes. At other times, no. And so I think there's an opportunity here when we look at, for example, what happened in this Canadian case. The government did something, and these crowdfunding websites went up to try to oppose it. Government didn't like that, so they applied a new and unprecedented sort of regulatory layer on it to start going, we're going to cut these guys out of the system. In tandem with this, we saw targeted leaks of like donor lists for all of these people, which had, their names and their emails or whatever. I didn't actually look at it, so I don't know the particular rows and, the SQL table here. But then you've got journalists that are like chasing down grandma who donated, $14.55 to, some person that she's never met just because she saw it on TV and thought it was a cause that she believed in. Right or wrong, again, people should be able to support political causes that are dear to them. Even if it's not, even if you think this is terrible, it's, Al-Qaeda or something. If you can't do it for the cases that you disagree with, governments can separate you from giving to cases that you do agree with. The only way to avoid this kind of malpractice is to avoid the practice to begin with, right, of intermediating and sort of approving in advance political giving. But these economic interactions in general, the idea here is if no one had been able to tell who had given what to whom, and the legacy system couldn't afford capabilities for intermediating in the first place, we wouldn't be having these conversations. Now, this raises the question for people who are very much against this protest. Well, could anything have been done if not for the fact that these people got sent money? And I think it's pretty unreasonable to presume that money is, what caused this political movement. Money is what stopped this political movement. That was actually only one branch, one lever of influence there, probably one of the weaker ones. But it is, I think, absolutely one of the most alarming ones, because the implications, not for, some trucks parked somewhere on the road, but for everyone in the world, wherever they are, whatever they believe, this can happen to you. It can happen to your family.
Okay, I'm going to leave it right there. I want you to go watch the rest of that video. Educate yourself, okay? It's on Intervision. It's a deep dive video. There's many videos by Edward Snowden, okay? So let's unpack this. So now we're at war with Russia, or Ukraine's at war with Russia. They're taking us off the SWIFT system. They're moving us into a new banking system. We know that, right? Russia-Ukraine narrative. There's going to be food shortages. They're bringing the middle class to their knees, leveraging you towards technology. Your job may not be here in the next 10 years. They're developing technologies and infrastructures on a financial system, just like he was talking about in Canada, where they could change all the rules and shut down your banking. Okay. Now, the reason why I bring this up is just you're working to pick winners and losers within the financial system. Now, this is nothing new under the sun. This stuff doesn't scare me. What it does is it makes me get really strict and really focused on where is regulation going, which cryptos are going to survive, which ones are going to allow me, based on their technology, infrastructure, software, connections to this inner working, to bring the money back to the people to create my own ecosystem. Just like Elon Musk. Elon Musk got the money, got the power, and he seems to be seemingly changing the structure. Now, I'm not saying I'm backing Elon. I don't know what his intentions are. I don't know the dude. So it has nothing to do with me. But what I do know is he is the matrix. He is not breaking out of the matrix. He's creating his own matrix. And that's what your job is to do through your Christ consciousness and operating out of love and high frequency, integrity, honesty. Okay. So we have the Russian narrative bearing them from the Swiss system. Edward Snowden talking about this information. This was a while back, but this was posted on April 13th. And then all of a sudden, Edward Snowden goes silent since Russia's invasion. He was tweeting all the time, consistently. And all of a sudden, he went completely silent. So Edward Snowden, the former national security contractor and press freedom advocate who has lived in Moscow in exile since 2013, hasn't uttered a word publicly since Russia's move to criminalize independent reporting about the invasion of Ukraine. So he went completely silent. And then all of a sudden, the reason why I'm bringing this up, kind of a long beginning to get to this, is yesterday, this was broken. Edward Snowden played a key role in the Zcash privacy coin creation. The NSA whistleblower and privacy advocate was one of the 6 participants in the cryptocurrency fabled 2016 trust setup ceremony using a pseudonym. So it came out that Edward Snowden was part of the secret meeting and trusted setup. What does this sound like? It sounds like the Federal Reserve. Think about a secret meeting on Jekyll Island, where a group of bankers set up a monetary system that we are stuck in right now. They have a secret meeting, pseudonym names, trusted setup, and they launched. And I'm not promoting Zcash. I'm just telling you this is what they launched. So they launched, or they worked to. He was part of the meeting that launched Zcash, right? Of privacy and convenience. So here's what I think is happening. Here's all the breakdown of Zcash. So let me bring myself further back on the screen. So here's what I think is happening. I told you guys this is a battle for consciousness, a battle for human consciousness. There's a power structure, infrastructure happening. There's a group of people who are freeing their domes, okay? There's Elon Musk, there's Edward Snowden, people that have gone fully against the system that have the ability, the influence to influence people at a big level. So there is a massive awakening happening, warriors. During a massive awakening, when a bully gets backed in a corner, they start throwing haymakers. They get sloppy. So what you should expect based on historical patterns is you should expect massive amounts of chaos. Because how do you confuse the people? You make things very chaotic. You get them to battle against each other. You get them to pick sides, mask, no mask, vaccine, no vaccine. You get them to go against each other. You do it at a civil level, and then a local level, then you bring it up to a state level, then you bring it up to a country level, then you bring it up to a world global level through war. And then once you confuse the people, you bring them to their knees, you give them the supplies they need, so you look like the hero. That's what narcissists do. So that's the economic cycle we're in right now. We're in that bringing to the knee cycle. But during these times, there's some of the richest people are created. So my recommendation, what I'm doing is I'm keeping myself out of the noise. I'm staying focused on what I can do within my current paradigm. I'm following a very disciplined, strict pattern, which is in my 120-day challenge in the Warrior Academy, where I do my meditation, my breathing, lifting myself up into Christ consciousness, fasting on a daily basis. I'm doing the work I can to serve people. And lo and behold, I have freed myself, and I'm working to free people all over the world, not because I'm some superhero, because I am free myself. And when I was looking for everybody, I got nobody. And when I became me, my true self, everybody came. So all I'm doing is just being myself. That's it. I'm not trying to change you. I'm not trying to save you. I'm not some hero or some oracle or whatever. I'm just a person who literally went into self and is now realizing that I am already free. I'm already healthy. I'm already abundant. I don't need Trump. I don't need Biden. I don't need freaking Elon Musk. I don't need Edward Snowden. But what I do need is to clear my mind and get into that Christ consciousness so I can be guided and directed by divine direction to the right investments to help bring the money back to the people, whatever that means, to free their dome. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Join the Warrior Academy, 3twarrior.com, and the gear is coming up very soon. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go. Love you guys.